So several great powers are all at war with each other in this world, and we're finally starting to see England start to send over some ships towards the American front. So there's a privateer, a cavalry, an ironclad. We'll see exactly if they send over a bit more. It looks like it. A lot of these ships were bordering around just north of Paris. Now they're starting to be sent through this channel between York and London. So yeah, this could be really bad for the Americans. So far they've held off. They've held off in a pretty good way, but we also have Portugal approaching. The problem is that Portugal is trying to approach through Swedish territory, and that's going to be bad because then they're going to be fighting two foes at once. You can't do that. Now, the only civ so far that I've seen to have battleships is Washington, so we'll see if he can kind of utilize those strategically those very kind of powerful ships now in this later era, in these later eras of the game. And I think I mentioned it briefly in the past, is England has had issues, as well as civs in general have issues upgrading their unique units, and England is probably going to hold on to these ship lines longer than they should. Honestly, the ship lines are powerful, yeah, we all know that. However, those battleships, it's so crucial to be able to attack 3 tiles away because you don't get bombarded by a city. It's so important. So this might actually come to backfire now that England has so many ship lines, because she might not get out as many battleships as she should, especially while she's going on the offensive here. We have a few wars that have popped up from the Celts. So we have the Huns, India, and Byzantium, all teaming up against the Celts. Then we have also a random Greek and Indian war. I don't think anything will react from that. Maybe, technically, I mean, geez, look at this army of artillery units, but I don't know where they're going to land those at. I believe India and Siam are finally at peace, I think, but I don't remember. This would be an excellent spot to maybe shoot at a few riflemen, or the cavalry that Greece controls, but besides that, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do on this island. Again, I can't remember exactly if India and Siam pieced out. And then finally, before we hit next turn, let's go ahead and look at the resources. I know that I promised you guys we'd eventually figure out where all the uranium and stuff was at. I have uranium, coal, and oil all revealed on the map. So really the big one, all we really have to look out for is uranium. So the Netherlands will probably get a source of uranium, and this is going to be extremely hard to find, like, exactly, because I might say statements all the time like, oh, well, India doesn't have uranium. I know that they do, but I'm just saying, like, look, maybe Siam. Siam doesn't have any uranium, but they might have a city somewhere out here in the map that I'm not accounting for. So that will be happening all freaking day. So I don't even know if I want to make any statements about that. Maybe I'll just kind of acknowledge, like, oh, Byzantium might not have any uranium. I know that Byzantium has an island up here, Constantinople. Their island doesn't have any uranium there either, but again, there's all sorts of islands all over the place. I think we should just focus on the major powers in terms of these resources that were discovered. So, England obviously has uranium, and actually quite a bit of it. Looks like they have at least 6 sources of uranium in 2 different spots. They have coal, which is a given, and then they have oil too. 5 sources of oil. So there you go. How about America? America has themselves 5 oil at least. I don't see much uranium. There's uranium. Let's check on their American island out this way. That has nothing really super important. But yeah, they have got uranium, so that's all that matters. How about Portugal? Anything for Portugal? Not as much, actually. Whoa, actually. Well, it makes sense because they just don't control that much land here. They've got coal, and that's it, but no uranium. India has uranium, which is a big deal. It's always a big deal no matter what map it is, because they're going to be bombing. They're going to be they're more likely to bomb people than other nations. This might be why a lot of nations haven't settled here on these islands, because they'd be destroying this uranium source, but they'd get oil. I would just destroy the iron. At this point, iron's not important, but I don't think the AI likes to settle on resources, so that might be the reason why no one settled here, because the AI really doesn't like to eat up resources. Shoshone has some uranium. Anyways, let's go ahead and go to the next turn. I know that Songhai is a very big deal, a very underrated power. They've been really, really quiet. They've got themselves some uranium, as well as, how about the Mayans? The Mayans do also. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the resource icons. You can still kind of see for yourself, if you'd like to, the kind of green hilltops or whatever. That's how you know if the Civ has uranium or not. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. I don't think there's any Manhattan projects yet anyways, and I knew this city was going to get taken, so the Mayans have taken away the Aztecs. I think the Aztecs are still around for them. Yeah, they're still around. They just lost their city here. Mayans are looking good. So we have kind of two powers down towards the south that aren't really taking a lot of credit. The Mayans and Songhai, they're both pretty powerful civs, nations in this world, but you know, I mean, they've just kind of had a pretty lackluster story. Nothing really has been going on down south, so we haven't really focused in on them too much, which makes sense. I'm actually still really shocked at Spain's size here. They've got quite a bit of naval units just towards the northeast of Madrid. Is England attacking just yet? No, not yet. How about Portugal? What is Portugal doing? Portugal having some small little battles going on in between Stockholm and Washington. And we have the World Congress becomes United Nations. There we go. So, I mean, there's no diplomatic victory anyways, but it's going to be a bigger deal. People are going to get more votes. Elizabeth has the most wonders right now with 9. Darius with 6. Pakal, is it Pakal? Pakal of the Mayans has 4. And then Isabella with 3. We have a 5-way tie, or I'm sorry, a 4-way tie for 5th place. And let's see, what do we have here? Choose host. Okay, as long as it's not me, and I don't think I will be it, right? I might be if everyone has 4 and England's the only one with 8. So if I vote for somebody else, would that mean, like, if I vote for like the weakest nation here? Greece is pretty weak. I guess let's just try it. This is just random, I know, but does that mean I won't have to vote anymore? See, that's not going to upset England. Like, England's going to retain the World Congress, but I'm wondering if I give them a close second. I can't recall off the top of my head. We'll see. It's not like it's be a big deal if Greece gets control of it, because Greece isn't doing very well anyways. So Washington got out of their war with the Zulu. That really didn't save them too much. The Zulu only had 1 city left, and they pretty much had no naval or army units at all. We have a few battles going on with these ironclads. There's a battleship here to support them. So yeah, oh man, the Portuguese fleet is going to be in some trouble here, because this battleship's going to be able to attack from far enough away to not get much of an impact. The thing is, though, they're going to keep on pumping out ships themselves. Morocco can do something here. I believe Morocco and America are at war, but they've been also kind of reluctant to just jump in. Are we seeing any movement from England and their ships? Not really. They're staying in between York and London. Maybe it's a good idea, but then again, I mean, this city is completely undefended. How amazing would that be if Washington was able to get out of this war without losing anything? So yeah, they do remain the host, and we'll see. I don't think that worked. I just wanted to see. I don't know why I thought that might work, but I just was just trying. Just trying, guys. Just trying. I know that Korea is still going after Austria, but they've lost several of their turtle ships for the most part. Vienna only has 1 range unit helping out Vienna, and that is Austria has only 1 range unit helping out their capital, I guess I should say. Boom, Babylon's going to join in on top of the pile. So they're using a cannon to attack the turtle ship. Oh, and now Mongolia too. But see, everyone like across the world, them declaring war on Washington doesn't really mean anything. It's not really that big of a deal, because what are they going to really contribute? I think you already have pretty much every nation that really has an impact on the borders of Washington. They've already joined in. I mean, I'm not sure if Sweden has joined in, but even if they did, it doesn't matter. They've lost all their units. But Morocco's involved, England's involved, Portugal's involved. I mean, it can't get any worse than that. I guess Venice might be able to send some ships across the sea, but who knows? Again, I can't keep up with all these wars. I guess if you look at the American island here, maybe you could consider, well, there's Fez, maybe the Aztecs. If the Aztecs have enough land units and they, land just south of Boston, because Boston actually has like a lot of land to fire from. You don't need as many ships when it comes to an island like this. Whereas obviously Honolulu, there's no spots to land at all because the Polynesians have completely filled out the land area. Same thing with Braga and Porto. I guess those are the same thing there. Oh, I sent that spy to the wrong city. Whoops. I got new spies, obviously, since I discovered all those strategic resources. Let me go ahead and change that spy over the break. Is there anything else? Not really. There's 2 privateers and 1 ironclad. I don't know why this guy started losing health. Where'd that come from? Okay, so what do we discover? What do you guys got for us? Sneak attack. Portugal is launching a sneak attack against somebody. I don't know if that's against America. Like, would that really be a sneak attack though? That doesn't seem right. Okay, how about let's go Lisbon. I'm sorry. I just totally forgot for a second there. I think what I would have needed to do in order to get that World Congress thing to work was I was going to need to let Greece win. That way there's still the world's, they're the host of the World Congress. I think they'd get, what, 2 extra delegates for that or something like that? And then it would be England and Greece. But since they got a second, my votes didn't count, so they didn't get any extra things for being the leader. Yeah, that's probably what happened. Oh, man, India, Netherlands pieced out. I always thought I thought that could have been a really interesting war. Whoa! Holy crap. Look at this. How did they manage to do that? I am shocked. Okay, geez. I was totally not expecting that. I knew that India and Greece were at war. We talked about that in the very beginning of this episode. But the fact that they were able to get Sparta so far down, that's really shocking. Okay, well, India's going to finally get up their third city. It won't be very big. It won't match Mumbai and Delhi. But still, who has this ideology? Who is this? Korea adopting freedom. Oh, are you the first freedom nation? Yes, they're already in a revolutionary wave. One turn into freedom, and they're already in a revolutionary wave. So that's not going to last long. It still seems somewhat divided, although autocracy, I think, barely has the edge over order. There's still so many more nations to go, so it's not like a huge deal. Let's go ahead and watch India take over the second Greek city. Obviously, Greece still has Athens, but I think they'll be pretty safe. From India, at least. They'll be pretty safe from India, kind of protecting Athens themselves. Ethiopia is not doing as well. I think they only have one city here. Yep, that is their capital. They've lost everything else. Boom. All right, so what does this really mean? This means that I think India has a much better chance, I think, of taking Siam now that they're able to get units over all the way towards this eastern part of the island, which obviously the eastern part of the island is more crucial since there is a lot more land, tiles to land. And that's what India is really doing right now. They're not using their navy at all. That's why I was so shocked. I still don't know how they were able to get Sparta down so low. I guess they landed like all their artillery units. They probably lost a bunch of artillery units in the process, and they just, one by one, they had probably 5, and Sparta only had like 61 combat strength or combat defense, so yeah, they weren't going to be able to hold back the Indian artillery for much longer. Okay, so the Ottomans have adopted autocracy, and the Aztecs adopting order. Next turn. Mongolia is at war with a few people, besides, I know that America, that was one that popped up, but I believe they're at war with a few more. Ooh, this is interesting. So the Portuguese are still kind of focusing in on the Swedish siege. Their blockade, wait a second, no. America is at war with Sweden, that's why this blockade symbol is here. But I believe Portugal is still at war with Sweden, so they might technically be kind of working together. They might accidentally, look at that. So Stockholm wasted its bombardment on the American ship, the privateer, which, again, I think, I'm not even 100% about this. I think I might be smoking crack. Portugal might have already peaced out with Sweden. Let's see right now. No, they didn't peace out with Sweden. Now, the problem is, though, Portugal's having a tough time finding... Oh, man. They still have a chance to take Stockholm. There's a frigate and 2 ironclads coming. They've got 2 artillery that are fresh, as well as multiple melee units. They've got to get past this ironclad, though, and they also can't waste artillery attacks on attacking this American ironclad. That'd be a waste. Use the land units to attack Stockholm. The Americans are not using their battleship. Now, they have 2. I'm not sure where the other one went. There's a few, looks like there might be a few airplane attacks. Maybe from York. Or maybe that's America attacking somebody else. Definitely quite a big Air Force. Quite an Air Force. I mean, not big, but compared to everybody else, I think that the American Air Force is one of the only in the world right now. They have, I think, multiple great bombers, Great War bombers, which are good, but not so good for defending. In the situation they're in this massive coalition, it's not a super good thing. Has Portugal processed yet? I don't think so. We would have probably seen a unit be destroyed. I think Sweden has processed, and I think they destroyed... Okay, so let's see what they do here. Boom, they destroyed the ironclad, and Stockholm is down to the yellow. Oh, yeah. So, that will more than likely be destroyed. I'm thinking, you know what? I think that Stockholm will get taken over next turn. Perhaps. There's another artillery unit coming. So, there you go, Portugal. I'm actually really, really impressed. It all depends on if this battleship decides to engage, though. The Americans could really ruin this siege that Portugal has going for it. A serious adopted order that might bring the game to a tie between order and autocracy, depending on, of course, what revolutionary Korea converts to. Let's see what they do. Are they going to take that battleship? No. They're going to stay away from it, and Portugal's going to grab Stockholm for themselves. Now they're going to need to be able to defend Stockholm, which more than likely will be fine. Okay, here are the two battleships, and they're going, looks like they might be landing around the Portuguese front. This city kind of lowering in health, maybe because of a random Great War bomber. Some are out this way. England's, so we're seeing a little bit of fear, it looks like, from England. I mean, I don't know if you would consider it fear, but England's not really jumping into it. It might be because they're distracted. They've got their hands full with a whole bunch of things right now. Boom. Yeah, they took that fast. I'm impressed. I am very impressed. So now that same regimen is going to go after Washington, D.C. And also Sweden has been destroyed, I believe. I believe that was Sweden's last city, but then again, I messed up with the Zulu. I thought that was the Zulu last city, and they were down here. The Zulu, when the Moroccans and the Americans decided to take over there. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, now you would think that these troops in the West would just kind of head over towards Washington after, of course, they heal up. Okay, so we have Byzantium choosing order, and then India and Washington piecing out. Okay, that's a start. That's the start of the end of the coalition. Now, I believe the Shoshone are at war with the Celts, I believe, right? Yes. Wow, there's been some battles going on in Celtic lands. I mean, we saw that there was another coalition that formed up against the Celts, but no one really sending anything over in the process. The Huns are at war with the Celts. We know that for sure. And this island would be pretty undefended if they were to kind of make the right moves. This island of the Celts, oh my gosh. Could you imagine if someone nuked this island? If an AI nuked this island, that would be one of the craziest things ever. They would take out so many units. But usually the AI is just really poor at making those decisions. Okay, so this Shoshone fleet is actually going for America, I believe. They might even steal away this battleship, technically, with all these privateers nearby. So let's see what Washington decides to do. They could run, or they could... Okay, they destroyed it. They decided to destroy a ship. They also destroyed one Shoshone privateer, as well as the ironclad that Portugal had just west to Washington. So they're going to heal, hopefully. This guy's already embarked. That might be a bad idea. But, no, I mean, Portugal is definitely far from over. They have several units still around. They just have to be more focused on where they decide to siege. I mean, Washington seems like it would be the big city to take. Oh, they surrounded it, but they didn't attack it. Now, why did they do that? This is not good. This is not good. This is not a good strategy for the Shoshone, to say the least. Because now you have Washington, the artillery located inside of Washington, and then the battleship probably going to destroy at least 2 ships, I'm thinking. Or at least 1.75, if you know what I mean. Destroying one and then just getting one really down close to the red. But let's see what they do. Okay, kind of, not so much. And then you have to always, I do need to consider the American Air Force too, that's located in this region. But anyways, guys, I'm about to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.